Welcome to Finance with Avery. In this video, I'm going to give an in-depth, detailed overview of the Wealthfront savings account. Now, Wealthfront calls their savings account the cash account because Wealthfront is not a bank. They are a fintech company, which is short for a financial technology company. However, they are FDIC insured, and I'll get into more detail about that and let you know how they're FDIC insured. So your funds in this account, this cash account, their savings account are FDIC insured, and we'll get into detail of that specifically because they offer more than that standard 250,000. But however, so their cash account right here, as you see, is currently offering an APY of 4.30%. So definitely on the higher end for savings accounts in general, and definitely on the higher end for online savings account. As you see right there on the main page, 11 times the national average, because the national average for a savings account is 0.37% APY. That is extremely low. So yeah, 4.30% APY annual percentage yield is awesome. Now that yield is variable, which means it's subject to change at any moment. The trajectory lately has been upwards for the past year or so with these online savings accounts. Not that long ago, Wealthfront was around 3 point something percent a few months ago, and definitely towards the end of last year, beginning of this year, I believe. So they've been going up for sure. This is the highest I've seen it so far recently, 4.30%. So that is awesome. We'll get into more of the history of Wealthfront later on in the video, but Wealthfront is mainly known for their investing platform. Now, they have a robo investing platform, which is like an automatic investing platform. You set your goals, you set how much you want to put in, at the beginning, initially, every month or however you want to deposit the money, whatever frequency, and they deposit the money and they invest the money for you based on your goals and everything. And it's a very structured, strategic, algorithm based type of investing where it's pretty much hands off for you. You put the money in and they do the work for you behind the scenes. Now, this account right here, this cash account, is tied closely with that because you can fund that account instantaneously, basically, with the money from their cash account if you wanted to do that. Now, you don't have to do the investing platform at all with Wealthfront for the cash account. However, they do go hand in hand if you wanted to do that. It makes it very seamless, but it's not a requirement. So when you open a cash account with Wealthfront, you don't have to use the investing platform or anything like that at all. They have the robo investing, as I was talking about, the automatic investing, and they have the individual investing account as well, where you can invest in actual individual stocks and ETFs yourself and pick them yourself and everything like that, in fractional amounts, whole share amounts, and so on. And of course, with this online savings account, they do have an app on the Apple App Store and the Google Play App Store. And let's get into some more details of this savings account, which I'm just going to refer to as a cash account because that is what they call it, is the cash account. And it does have some properties of a checking account. Let's go overall right here, some of the big highlights of this account. There are zero fees right there. So there are no monthly maintenance fees and no, minimum balance required fees or anything like that. There are unlimited fee-free transfers. So you can transfer money to this account and from this account, unlimited, no fees attached to that as well. And now there's up to 3 million FDIC insurance through partner banks. And now FDIC is that Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, which is an independent agency created by Congress back in the Great Depression to protect depositors if banks fail, if financial institutions fail, to safeguard your money, basically. If you have up to $3 million in this cash account with Wealthfront and somehow Wealthfront goes bankrupt, they, can't make deposits or anything like that, you can't withdraw money, if something's going on with Wealthfront, FDIC will step in and protect your deposits up to $3 million and you'll get that money back. The FDIC has never failed to get money back to depositors when something happens with banks. Now, there have been banks that have gone under that are FDIC insured, and the FDIC, they step in and they overtake things. It's not instantaneously necessarily, but it doesn't take a long time either because they definitely want to get the money back into your hands and everything. So the FDIC insurance is very important. Also, right here, no minimum or maximum balance required to earn that 4.30% APY because with some banks, some financial institutions, you do have you have to meet this certain amount to earn the APY, and everything after this amount is at this APY or something like this. So with Wealthfront, there is no minimum or maximum balance to earn that 4.30% APY. Now, the way that the interest is calculated is that it accrues daily and compounds monthly. So you will earn interest on your total balance in your individual cash account, including cash in your categories account, and then you'll see the pending interest grow throughout the month until it's paid. And it's typically paid right there, as they state, on the first business day of the month. They state that they'll credit your account with the interest you earned during the previous month. So, for example, all the interest that you accrued in November will be credited to your account by the first business day in December. And they state if you withdraw the cash before the interest is paid, you'll still earn interest on that amount for the time that you held it. And that this payment will arrive at the usual time, which is the first business day of the following month. And there are taxes involved. If you earn more than $10 in interest, they're going to send you a 1099 INT form during the tax season, which you'll have to report with your taxes and everything. Now, the federal funds rate has been on the upward trajectory lately. It's been increasing, which in conclusion has been having many of the online savings account like this one increasing their APY and their interest rates. And now on to some of the checking account features of this cash account, which I found very interesting because not many online savings accounts have checking account features like Wealthfront does. Wealthfront, first off, as you see right there, they have a debit card. So yeah, they have a free debit card that is provided, which you can use at ATMs to withdraw your money. And so right here, they state on their website, did we mention you can spend it too? When we say your money is there when you need it, we mean when you really, really, really need it, like nowish. These checking and ATM features make it possible. So yeah, you have the free debit card right there provided by Visa, and you have over 19,000 free ATMs. So those are ATMs that you could use without any fees attached to them right there. Also have access to your funds earlier with direct deposit. They have that early direct deposit feature that some checking accounts have, where you will receive your direct deposit around 2 days earlier than you typically would receive that direct deposit. And they also have where you can pay bills plus send and deposit checks with this account right here. And we're going to get into more details of that because it's not as clear cut as it seems. There are some stipulations with that depositing checks right there. So it's kind of like a hybrid account right here you got going on with the Wealthfront Cash Account. Now, with the checking features of the cash account, you do have to request those. So it's not something that's automatically available on your cash account. You have to basically fund your cash account, and then you'll have an option to initiate the checking features right there. So you'll see that within the app and within the website. Once you fund the account, that you will see a prompt to request checking features once you funded your account. And now security features they have going on with the cash account, they have active fraud monitoring. So they closely monitor the cash account and work to make sure that only you can access it. And if they expect anything fraudulent is going on, they'll immediately alert you and place a temporary restriction on the checking features of the account. They state that you can lift the restriction in a couple of minutes in the Wealthfront app by re-verifying your identity. And they also have two-factor verification, which is that extra layer of security to make sure that only you can log into your account. And they have app-specific passwords. And they have a feature where you can lock your debit card within the Wealthfront app. And now with their dedicated customer service, they have a help center in the blog for, questions and answers or anything like that. And then they also have, the ability to contact a human by phone call or email. And here's the contact page for their customer service. And they have a drop down where they have a couple of categories right here as far as linking an account or general questions and something for law enforcement right there. But they have a form that you can fill out to answer your questions, your concerns, or anything like that, where they will try to get back to you. All right, and if you want to contact them via phone, they state that they can be reached on weekdays from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. And they stated that they are committed to answering all emails within 24 business hours. So if you fill out that contact form and everything like that with an issue or concern, they expect to get back to you within 24 business hours. If you want to reach them by phone, their hours are right there, weekdays, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. Now let's go over sending a check with this cash account. They state that you can deposit and send checks with your individual cash account with checking features once you've met the two security requirements. And those two security requirements are you've held an average balance of at least $2,500 across all your Wealthfront accounts for the last 60 days. And the other requirement is that you've direct deposited at least $250. And they state that if you don't meet these requirements, stay tuned because they're working on a way to make access much easier for you. Through the website or the app, you can schedule a free check payment, which you can schedule a one-time or reoccurring check payment at no cost to you. And they have information right there. If you wanted to cancel a check payment, it's be the same as the instructions if you're canceling a transfer. And they state that the checks are sent via USPS and they typically arrive within 5 to 7 business days. And also, you cannot send a check outside the United States. You can only send them to a United States address. And with this checking, with sending a check and everything like that, there is no checkbook right there. So there's no requesting of physical checks because they send the checks for you. So that's what they're stating right there. No checkbook or stamps required. They say we take care of sending each check for you. And they state that the recipient of your check has 90 days to cash the check. And if they don't cash it, they'll email you and return the funds to your cash account. And the requirements with depositing a check are pretty much the same as the requirements with sending a check. So you have to meet those two security requirements, which is over the past 60 days, you've held an average balance of at least $2,500 across all your Wealthfront accounts. And then the other requirement is that you've direct deposited at least $250. Now with depositing a check, it's a little more seamless right here because you can deposit a check using their mobile app. either the one on the Apple App Store, iOS, or their Android app. So with Wealthfront, you'll just be endorsing the back of the check and then writing for mobile deposit only under your signature, and you'll take a photo of the front and back of the check. Pretty seamless process right here with the mobile check deposit. But the odd thing about it is that you have to meet those 2 security requirements to even do the mobile check deposit, which I haven't seen that with other companies that I've used for mobile check deposit. So that is something that kind of stood out to me right there that should be noted. And they have certain types of checks that they do not accept. They state that they do not accept cashier's checks, money orders, traveler's checks, most loan checks, cash advance checks from credit card issuers, checks that aren't in your name, checks from international banks or checks that are not in US dollars, photocopies of checks or printed e-checks, or US saving bonds. So those are the kinds of checks that they do not accept. So depositing cash is a feature that's somewhat lacking on several online savings accounts. It's something that either isn't a feature at all where you can't deposit cash, or is a stipulation where you can only deposit cash at certain areas like CVS's, or certain partner areas or certain green dot areas. And Wealthfront does have green dot as a partner, and I'll actually talk about that a little bit later as well, where that's how they do their banking services. That's how they provide their banking services, is through green dot in their checking account features and things like that, or with the help of green dot who they partner with. But with depositing cash right here, they're saying at select retailers you can use your debit card to deposit cash up to $3,000 per day. They say ask your retailer if they accept cash loads. If they do, you'll pay a fee of up to $5.95 to deposit cash. So they don't have any kind of list of the select retailers or anything like that. I guess you just pretty much have to ask, hey, do you accept cash loads? So that's a little odd. I've noted with another bank that I use, they have the same thing where they have cash deposits per select retailers, but they have a list of them. And their retailers include Walgreens and the Dollar Tree, I believe, or Family Dollar, and different places like that. So you may want to try Walgreens, CVS, Walmart, maybe places like that to see if you can deposit cash with those places right there. Because I looked around for a list online and they don't have one on their website or anything right here. So that's kind of an odd thing. So it's just one of those features that seems to be kind of lacking with online savings account, is depositing cash, actual physical cash. You could transfer money fee free, anything like that, mobile check deposit, things like that. But depositing physical cash seems to be something I have to kind of go through a loop to actually do. Now let's go over some of the limits they have on transfers and spending for the cash account. Now for the ATM withdrawal, there is a $1,000 daily limit. For debit card spending, there's a $10,000 daily limit. For transfers initiated on their website or app, there's a $250,000 daily limit. For the ACH withdrawals using your routing and account numbers, there's a $50,000 daily limit. For ACH deposits using your routing and accounting numbers, there's a $250,000 daily limit. And for direct deposit, there's a $250,000 daily limit. And for check deposit, there's 10 checks per day or 25 per month, or $10,000 per month limit. And for a point of sale cash back, there's a $2,500 daily limit. And now let's go over some of the fees for the cash account. And they state that there are no fees for the cash account, but there may be a few fees for the Wealthfront debit card. And so here's the fees right here that are associated with that debit card. Now for in-network ATMs, it's free. There are no fees with that. And now they use the Allpoint ATM network. Now not all Allpoint ATMs are qualified under that free ATM in-network stipulation that they have going on. And they have a location finder within the app and on their website where you can find the ATMs that are fee-free. So it's going to be over 19,000 of them. So there are plenty of them spread out. I mean, of course, I'm not guaranteeing you'll be in an area where you're surrounded with them, but with over 19,000 ATMs, there's a good chance you'll be near some ATMs that are in their service, in their network, that don't have any fees associated with them. Now, if you happen to use an out-of-network ATM, there's a $2.50 fee along with any kind of ATM owner fee, which that varies. So it's going to be at least at $2.50 plus the ATM owner fee. And then there's a bank teller fee of $2.50 plus the teller fee, which that varies. And now if you use the debit card internationally, there's an international transaction fee of 2.75%. Now with the wire transfer, they state that this is coming soon. So this isn't a feature that's fully fleshed out yet, but they do state that they charge $10 per outgoing wire transfer and that this charge isn't collected until your wire is initiated. And then they state that they do not charge anything for incoming wire transfers. And now before we jump on to the other sections of the video, I want to go over the highlights for this cash account. And now this cash account has a 4.30% APY annual percentage yield on your entire balance, no matter the amount. That's the current APY. There's FDIC insurance up to $3 million through their partner banks. You can direct deposit your paycheck up to 2 days before your usual payday. So they have that early direct deposit. You can deposit a check with their app, which, I went over the stipulations with that right there. To deposit a check, to send a check, there are two security requirements that are currently required for you to be able to do that. You can pay bills and use payment apps with your routing and account numbers that you'll have for your cash account. And they have over 19,000 no-fee ATMs. You can use your Wealthfront debit card to quickly get cash. There are no account fees, no overdraft fees, no transfer fees, and no minimum balance fees. And when I say no account fees, of course, that's with the cash account. Like I stated in the other part of the video, there are fees associated with the debit card. And they also have active fraud monitoring. If they suspect fraud, they immediately alert you and work with you to secure your account. And there is that $1 minimum to open an account and no additional deposit requirements. They do have a joint and trust cash accounts, but the checking features aren't available for those type of accounts. But the joint cash account is owned by you and a partner, while the trust cash account is owned by your trust. So those are other kinds of cash accounts that you can have. However, you won't have those checking features, but you'll still have the APY, the FDIC insurance, and other the highlights for the cash account there. And speaking of the FDIC insurance, we're going to jump into more specifics of that right here over on the overview of the account right here. So as you see, like typically banks provide $250,000 in FDIC insurance. To provide you with that $3 million in FDIC insurance, Wealthfront partners with 12 unaffiliated partner banks. So what Wealthfront does basically is that they pretty much spread your deposits through these other partner banks to increase that $250,000 FDIC insurance. So if you have $1 million in this cash account with Wealthfront, now all of that is going to be getting that 4.30% APY from Wealthfront. So you'll be getting that interest and everything like that. However, that money physically, the numbers, or however you want to say it, are going to be within other banks as well. It's going to be spread out your deposits. Now, that's not saying that you have to go to the other banks to withdraw your money or anything like that. You don't have to associate with those other banks. Like you don't have to have an account with them or, go use their ATMs or anything like that. But your money is spread out to be FDIC insured up to that $3 million. That's how Wealthfront provides that right there. Now, your account, your money, everything is still through Wealthfront. Like if you wanted to take it all out, it's going to be through Wealthfront. If you want to add more, it's going to be through Wealthfront. Everything's still connected with that. However, it's going to be spread out behind the scenes with Wealthfront to provide that higher insurance amount. If you have an account with one of those partner banks, how would your money be affected in that case right here? So the FDIC insures up to $250,000 per depositor, per institution, and per ownership category. So if you have any accounts with those partner banks of Wealthfront, those balances may count towards this total amount that the FDIC insures. So if you do have an account with one of those partner banks, that does come in the conversation with that $3 million of FDIC insurance that you would have for your deposits right there. If you have 3 million or a million or 2 million over that 250,000, spread out basically right there if you have another account with one of those other banks. So they're stating that if you see your bank on the list and expect that you might exceed $250,000 limit, they say send them a support message and they can keep your deposits to Wealthfront out of that bank. So they can pretty much say, okay, well, this customer right here has a bank account with one of our partner banks. Let's not put their money in that bank to earn more FDIC insurance. Let's put it in a different bank. So, there's a whole list right here. We'll get to the list because there's not just a few. There's a lot. As you see right here, yeah, there are many banks, some major banks you may have heard of before, some banks you may not have heard of before. So let's see here. We got Citibank, Cross First Bank, East West Bank, Green Dot Bank, HSBC Bank, PPAC Gladstone Bank, State Street Bank and Trust Company, Customers Bank, Cross River Bank, Farmers and Merchants Bank, Northeast Bank, Metropolitan Commercial Bank, Field Point Private Bank and Trust, Connect One Bank, and Bank of Baroda right there. And then the ones with the asterisk that you see, the rest of the list, those are planned additions to program banks. So they have plans to include them on the actual official list of the program banks, but they have them listed right here just so you'll know. All right, now let's go over some of the history of Wealthfront and how they started, because this is a fairly new company right here. It was founded in 2008. As I stated, Wealthfront is known as an automated investment service firm. So that's how they got their start. That's what made them, as big as they are, and how they have a certain assets under management. Because right now, with robo investing platforms, they are number 3 in assets under management, which is the total amount of money they have, under management, the assets, like how much money they have to invest that from their customers, from their depositors and things like that in their platform. And this article right here was back on March 2023. So it stated they have 34 billion assets under management. So that is a lot. That puts them a little bit above, you see, Betterment. That's another well-known company, and above Acorns, above M1 Finance, some other companies that you may have heard of in the fintech space. So Wealthfront is on the bigger end right there of that. Underneath, of course, Vanguard is a major company right there. They have 140.7 billion in assets under management. Of course, Schwab is a major corporation, and their robo platform right there, the Intelligent Portfolios platform, 70.3 billion. But Wealthfront is up there at 34 billion right there in assets under management. So they definitely have one of the top robo advisors. Their website about us page is really nice. I'm going to get to that. But overall, right here with Wealthfront, they were founded by Benchmark co-founder Andy Rashcliffe and Dan Carroll in 2008 as Kaching. So that's what it was first known as, Kaching, a mutual fund analysis company. And that was before they pivoted it into wealth management. And so, like I said, they got it laid out right here, of course, in the Wikipedia. But let's go to the About Us page in Wealthfront, because I think this looks really neat right here. I like the design of this. I'll just go over some of the highlights here of how Wealthfront started and became what they are now. But they have a neat storyboard on their website that pretty much maps it all out. That's really neat right here with how they were founded, which you could definitely check out on their website. It's all laid out right there, pretty neat. But pretty much you have it starting with Andy Rashcliffe, which he was a co-founder of a venture capital firm, Benchmark Capital. And so they said he had kicked back, relaxed in retirement. He saw a need to democratize access to sophisticated investment products. And so he stated that software could make investing easier and better for people. And then you have Dan Carroll, which he saw how the financial crisis affected people, including his parents back in Chicago, outside of Chicago right there. And so he wanted to do something about it. He stated that it was clear to him that most people didn't have access to good financial advice, which is definitely true. And so they stated that he eventually built a prototype that got some traction and even got the attention of a lecturer at Stanford, which would be Andy right there. And so they stated that Andy called Dan, but Dan didn't return his call or didn't call him back because he did not like VCs, venture capitalists, and he didn't want to sell out. So he thought, oh, I'm going to sell out if I answer this call. That's not what I'm about. I don't want to go to the same old with the financial, advice, financial companies that are out there. I want to do something different. And they stated that Andy persisted and eventually tracked Dan down and talked about his career and how he wasn't in it for greed, that he simply wanted more people to have the same investing advantages that he had. And then they stated that they realized that they not only shared a mission, which that mission to help democratize access to sophisticated financial advice, but they also agreed that software could unlock great investing for everyone. So they gathered some of the best technical minds they knew, and that was the day that Wealthfront was formed. So two people from kind of two different parts of the avenues of the financial world right there had the same kind of mission, thought that that mission could be reached in the same way with software, and got more people, smart minds, more technical minds in the room with them. And that's how Wealthfront was created. So like I stated, they haven't been around that long. 2008 was kind of the founding, but, they've been making big changes. Like, for instance, in 2013, they had $97 million in assets under management and grew by 450% in 1 year. So you see how I stated earlier how they had 34 billion in assets under management now, 2023. And so back in 2013, 97 million. So they have definitely grown in that 10 years right there. And with the cash account, it hasn't been around that long. In February 2019, Wealthfront introduced the cash account, which is their high interest savings account that I've been talking about in this video. And the Wikipedia hasn't been updated recently because they have the FDIC insurance up to 2 million, which right now is up to 3 million with Wealthfront because of those partner banks have increased, and they've increased how much money they spread around and everything. But they do have some of the banks right here that they partner with on the Wikipedia. And so, yeah, that's some of the background right there overall on Wealthfront. So, not a lot going on with that history of Wealthfront. It started as something Kaching, that was for a couple years, changed it to something else, to Wealthfront, what it's become now. And since then, they've just been growing and growing and growing and having more and more assets under management and adding new features here and there, like the cash account, which just started in 2019. And actually, recently, they almost got acquired by UBS, which is a major bank right here. And this was back in January of 2022 that UBS agreed to acquire Wealthfront to deliver digital wealth management offering to millennial and Gen Z affluent investors. So they wanted to grow that clientele with their company right there, UBS. So they wanted to buy Wealthfront and do it that way. However, later on in that year, both parties agreed to terminate the pending acquisition, and Wealthfront was going to remain an independent company. But UBS gave them $69.7 million in financing at a $1.4 billion valuation, which that was the valuation that UBS gave Wealthfront when they were going to acquire them. And there was pushback on that because there were some fallen valuations in the financial technology company space with things going on, and certain shareholders gave UBS some pushback on that, and US regulators. That's what people are saying. That's what some articles are saying pretty much led to the termination of the acquisition. And they even had some big investors with UBS. Some of their big investors stated that UBS could build their own platform for cheaper instead of buying a company at $1.4 billion. They said that they could just build their own platform that, compete with Wealthfront. And so you had pushback with that right there, and that deal ended up being terminated. And the CEO states that even though they've terminated the agreement with UBS for the acquisition, is that they plan to continue to explore ways to work together in a partnership, because UBS has $69.7 million in financing with Wealthfront. So they have an investment in Wealthfront. So they're going to hope that they do well because they want their $69.7 million to do well. So they're basically invested in Wealthfront through that financing that they gave them. So there's going to be ways that they're probably still going to work together in that partnership, is what the CEO stated. And they stated the Wealthfront spokesman declined to share additional details related to the terminated deal, but said that the company is excited about its path forward as an independent company and is focused on building a lasting company that positively impacts the lives of our clients for decades to come. And on this article right here, they state that the average age of a Wealthfront customer is 37, and 70% of the fintech's clients are under 40 years old. And it's stated that the average Wealthfront cash account holds about $30,000. So Wealthfront is still an independent company, and actually recently they extended their partnership with Green Dot. So this article right here in December 2022 states that they extended their partnership with Green Dot, and Green Dot is that company, as I stated earlier, that helps Wealthfront provide those checking features in their cash account. And with that extended partnership with Green Dot, where they're able to provide those checking features with their cash account, the vice president of Wealthfront stated that today's investors want smart saving and investing products that help them build wealth in all market conditions, which is why we're proud to offer the cash account to help our clients earn more on their uninvested savings. With one of the highest rates on the market plus checking features powered by Green Dot, we're able to provide a best-in-class cash account that is far superior to what a traditional bank can offer, so our clients can grow their long-term wealth easily and conveniently. All right, now let's check out the mobile app on the Apple iOS App Store, because that is one of the most important aspects of an online savings account, is the mobile app, because that's how most people are going to interact with their savings account, whether it be just logging in and checking on it, seeing the account balance, seeing the interest, or transferring money to or from the account, using any of the other features, mainly through that mobile account, mainly through that mobile app. That's mainly how I interact with my savings account and my checking accounts, are through the mobile app. So let's check it out here. It has 16,000 ratings on the App Store at 4.8 stars out of 5. So high ratings right there overall with this app. And let's see how it looks here on the screenshots. All right, very clean interface it looks like right there. Got the interest earned right there, got the current APY. All right, and of course they have some of the features. They're using kind of these screenshots section of the App Store with promoting, the highlights of their savings account, their cash account, their investing platform, and different things like that. So, the no fees and the FDIC insurance, things like that. And that part right there, okay, that screenshot, that's with the investing platform. So yeah, pretty clean interface right there. Got some of the awards that they've won and different things like that with the cash account, the cash management account. Let's look at some of the reviews here. And of course, you have the description, which is going to include information about the investing platform as well. And let's go to some of the reviews right here. As you see, mostly 5-star. You got a 5-star right there. Pleased beginning investor, 5-star. Very functional and easy to use, 4-star. Money tracking a cash account, 5-star. Simply the best place to invest, 5-star. Near perfect start for beginners. A lot of 5-star accounts. A lot of 5-star. A lot of 5-star reviews, ratings right here. Most recent right here. All right, got a 3-star right here. It says awesome platform, but 3 stars right here. I don't have words to express how happy I'm to have found Wealthfront. I fired my advisor. Wow. So really good review right here as far as the words, but they still gave it 3 stars. So that could have been maybe a hiccup, maybe a mistype, something like that. A 2-star right here says overall pretty good, but issues with the reCAPTCHA. So I guess something with the login right there. Bad UI, poor quality control, 1 star right there. Awesome app right there, 5-star, 10 out of 10. So yeah, mixed right there. Mostly 5-star, a couple of 1 stars in between there, but a lot of 5-star and 4-star reviews right there on the app. Like I said, it looks pretty clean on the screenshots and everything. Mostly good ratings and reviews. And in size, it's 178.6 megabytes in the size. All right, and that is it with the video on the Wealthfront Cash Account savings account. Hope you all enjoyed it. Enjoy your day. Take care.